I couldn't say, Senator.
All right. Well, look, there's been some criticism of the CSIRO in regard to its capacity to handle security matters.
In what sense, Senator?
Well, for instance, there was a data breach. The Financial Review reported on the 3rd of April 2018. It said that you spent some millions after it's alleged was a Chinese data breach. Are you familiar with that article?
Vaguely, Senator.
Vaguely, I see.
Recall it.
Well, the article makes a suggestion that CSIRO spent tens of millions of dollars to upgrade its cyber security and information systems since a data breach, what was said to be, was linked to a Chinese national. Was there in fact a data breach?
Senator, I'm not quite sure which Chinese person you're talking about. If it's the one that left the country and we chased them, I don't think formally there was no data breach, but I can say...
Sorry, can you repeat that?
If it's the one that left the country and I think moved to France, I think the final conclusion is that there was no breach. But Senator, I
just want to be clear about that, because that's quite important.
I'm not quite familiar with the specific statement you're talking about.
Well, let me just be clear, because I mean, what you said was that the allegation was that the person had returned to China. And you're saying, in fact, the person, this was an officer of the CSIRO, actually went to France.
I think, Senator, on this one, I think I'd have to take that on notice because I haven't got...
I want to be clear, because if you wouldn't mind, because it's quite a serious allegation that's been made against CSIRO.
I think, Senator, what I would say, Senator, in
if
2000...
perhaps if I could...
well, Senator, if I could explain our security position.
Is there anyone here that can help you with that article? This is dated... this is the Financial Review, the April 3, 2018. I see Kimberly's there. Maybe she can get that for you.
Senator, we certainly upgraded CSIRO's cybersecurity facilities, but we started that process in 2015, not because of an alleged breach, but simply as a matter of good security practice.
No, I would expect nothing less, but this is an important matter, given that the allegation's been made that our premier science agency has been penetrated by a foreign government, and it's alleged that at the Parkville facility in Melbourne was essentially rumbled, and a person concerned in 2013 had fled to China. And you're saying that's not right.
Well, I'm trying to work out which document we're talking about, because I haven't got the document you have sent.
Well, look, if Kimberly, is it possible for one of the officers to show you the article?
This is almost before your time.
So I have the article here too, so what you're referring to is a breach.
That was
But
allegedly occurred.
Yeah.
Alleged breach that occurred in December 2013, I think.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's
the one.
Correct. That was according to the article.
It goes on for page after page.
Sorry, November 2013.
Page after page denigrating the CSIRO, and we now discover that it may not be factually correct. It's obviously been provided by...
Obviously, if there's no one here, I'd be happy to take it on notice. But
Mr Williams is telling us...
Well, Senator, now we know which one it is, Senator. What I would say is that in 2015 we worked with the Australian Signals Directorate, Cyber Security Board, who looked at CSIRO and identified it as a high-risk agency in terms of foreign powers' desire to hack into our system. We've worked closely with them, and in 2017 they gave us what is effectively a clean bill of health in terms of the security level we operate.
Fair enough. And I mean, it's not unreasonable for you or the security agency to suggest that you are an agency of high interest to foreign governments. I'd suggest not just one government, but many governments.
I agree with that.
But this is an article that spent a considerable amount of energy suggesting one government pointing to an incident which appears to be factually incorrect. Is that?
Well, can we come back on notice and give you the
Yes,
report
please.
of
I'd
what we
like
did
to
from
know
that?
your response to these suggestions. I'd like to know your response to the suggestion that you spent millions of dollars after a Chinese data breach, given that that's the thrust of the article.
Senator, we spend millions of dollars every year on our IT system.
Thank you for your question, Senator, and we'll definitely come
That's
back
the
to you
point.
on notice. And thank you also
Because
for
there's been a
recognising-
lot of loose speculation about our research agencies being demonstrated since November of last year. A campaign seems to have been launched, I would suggest, given by a couple of academics and a number of newspaper networks seem to have followed them through. Now, you have been the subject of that. A number of universities have been subject to that. When I've made inquiries about whether or not there have been breaches of the Defence Control Act, we've not been able to find any. Defence Trade Control Act, there's not been any breaches. Now, we understand there might have been one early in the piece when these arrangements were put in place in 2011, but that involved Pakistan. It's my understanding. Now, that's not China, and that there may well have been interest from a number of governments in espionage. My question is, how well are you protecting our secrets? And I think we're entitled to an answer to that.
Senator, we'll come back on the specific case. I can say that in the last 30 days alone, I did get some information on it, CSIRO's blocked approximately 13 million attempts to hack the system.
How many?
13 million.
13 million.
Most of them automatic attacks, automated
And where do
attacks.
they originate from?
We don't always know, we just block them because there are so many.
Yeah.
But
But do you have a sense of the...
What you said was very accurate, Senator. They come from a range of international locations.
That's right. Government and non-government sources?
We find it very difficult to tell, Senator, and it's in fact difficult to tell the origin, but often we can see a country...
13 million.
13 million.
And in what length of time?
30 days.
30 days.
Yes, Senator.
How many have been successful in actually hacking into your systems?
We believe none.
Sorry?
We believe none have been
None.
successful, yes.
That's your belief?
Yes.
That's, of course, the challenge.
I know it's a
to
challenge. It's
Senator.
a serious proposition.
We also, Senator, block 500,000 spam and phishing emails every month as well.
A bit like my email system, I
Yes.
suspect.
Senator,
So
I'm not quite so successful in blocking them.
Senator, I will add one of the beauties of having so many brilliant data scientists and digital scientists
Yes,
in the
yes, yes, yes,
organisation. I've seen security approaches that are quite unique in CSIRO's defence system. We
Yes.
also collaborate with major security
Look,
companies as well.
It's just that the Defence Department's saying that they need these all-encompassing powers because of the growth in technologies. It's a proposition put to me the other day. You're repudiating that. You say that you can control your technologies. You're able to secure that technology. Is that the proposition you're putting to this committee?
Senator, it's a little bit like escalation.
But it's a balancing act. Have
Exactly.
you had any evidence to suggest that you're not being able to control your responsibilities under the Defence Trade Control Act?
Not to our knowledge, Senator.
Has anyone drawn to your attention any breach?
Not in my experience during my time as Chief
Has
Executive.
there been any
Senator.
prosecutions?
Again, not to my knowledge during my term
Your
as
time.
Chief Executive, Senator.
But you take that on notice. Has any officer, the CSIRO, or anyone associated with the CSIRO been prosecuted for breaches of the Defence Trade Control Act or any of the associated acts?
We'll absolutely take that on notice, Senator.
And can you give me this, and if it's true, what the circumstances are? Now, when I've asked this question, I've been told there have been no breaches. Of all the licences that have been issued, no breaches.
We think there's no breach.
Now, if that information is incorrect, I'd ask you to correct it.
Senator would do exactly what you say, Senator.
Thank you. Look, in regard to the... who does your internal security reviews? Do you, I take it they're regularly done?
Yes, we have a senior security officer and a team, and we run regular things in the system to check what's going on.
Do you have any external reviews?
But the most recent one was the ASD, the working with the Australian Signals Directorate.
Yes.
That was a 2-year period of effective review of how we operate, how we manage, and how we work.
So the Signals Directory, any other security agencies have a look at this?
I'd have to take that on notice, Senator,
Thank
whether
you.
we employ external bodies to attack us.
I just want to know whether or not we rely entirely on your word, or is there any other
I know
external
exactly what you're
verification?
saying. I will go back because we do test hacks and we see how it works, but I'll find out if external bodies are involved.
Senator, we do have regular meetings with the security agencies, and we do request that they test us. But the results of those tests are obviously highly confidential.
And Dr. Marshall, I would expect this is a matter of constant vigilance. We don't be naive about this. But there is a balance required here about your capacity to actually engage internationally, your capacity to undertake innovative research work. But there has to be an issue as to whether or not there's any evidence that you've fallen down in terms of your responsibilities for the security of the country. And that's what I want to know. Has there been any evidence drawn to your attention?